Insights with Terri Ep.106, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.106. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.106. Thank you for joining me for the week of January the 29th through February the 5th, 2023. I do appreciate your time. It's important to me, and I know it's important to you. Time's something we can't get back once we devote it to something. So that gift from you to me is, I'm very grateful, and I thank you. All right, what's going on this week? We've got an interesting month. When we start a new month off, there's a new vibration. Now, we moved into Aquarian energy, which is the planet of expansion and unique and unusual way of thinking, independent, of course. It is ruled by Uranus, which is a double whammy as far as wanting to expand, needing to create different thoughts. So this is supporting so many of the situations, if you think about it, that we're in, because we have so many issues that have shown weaknesses and vulnerability. We can't hide it under the carpet anymore. So we have to start looking at how do we solve some of the problems that are around us. And you don't need me to tell you what the problems are around us. That's just a big downer, but it's a true thing where Aquarius energy combined with its ruling planet Uranus offers us that opportunity to see it and to maybe do something about it. So let me give you an example of that. We have some difficulties with veterinary care. I'm heavy into dogs. So the veterinary care after hours is deplorable, absolutely deplorable, kind of like us humans, right? Now, I can suck it up, but boy, it's hard when I watch my dogs suck it up or my animals. So that's an important thing to me, and I know it's very important to you that own dogs and love animals. So this very difficult situation that we're running into, which is almost 100% lack of care after hours, needs something to be done. So there's a group that I made a suggestion to that why don't we get together as a group, have a coffee, throw some ideas out there, and see if we come up with maybe an alternative plan or something that we could do to hold us over till it's a on our schedule, or pool some resource thinking or knowledge. Holy cow. A bomb went off. Honestly, you'd think I'd ask people to push a peanut across Canada with their nose. Oh, some were violently opposed to thinking about new ideas, how we'd land up in jail, can't bash veterinarians. That wasn't the point at all. And I read my post over and over trying to think, how did it go sideways like this? So many of us will be resisting new ways of looking at things, new ways of approaching things. And it's interesting to me because when I look at where the planets are, and I look at human nature, and I have no degrees, believe me, I just have the degree of observation. My whole life is spent observing animals and people. And so with society right now, and the divisiveness that I'm seeing, and the anger, if we started looking at ourselves as animals again, when you add all the planets and where they are and how they're trying to lead us to a new paradigm, a new experience in our life, higher vibration, I'm wondering, because animals and people, depending on how they've been conditioned, the feeling of loneliness, that can be activated. And we might not even know it. So our mindset affects us. We have fight, we have flight, or we have freeze. And I've seen it over and over. If somebody's startled or an animal is startled, they'll pull on one of those tools. Some dogs, some horses just freeze. I saw 3 big Neapolitan Mastiffs attack a horse one time. And it did a lot of damage. They did a lot of damage to the horse. The horse could have run away, but the horse froze. Now, some animals, and that's why the damage, but thankfully for the rider, the horse froze because he fell off and his foot got caught in the stirrup. He'd have been killed. So, thank you, universe. Dogs damaged the horse severely. The horse did survive, was traumatized, but did survive. So we look at that mindset. Are we in the category of fight? Are we in the category of flight? Are we in the category of freeze? And this is being pushed at us right now, this growth mindset. Do we have the courage to confront what's bothering us, or what we're afraid of, or what we feel has traumatized us? Or do we have the courage to lean into the danger and move forward, even though it is dangerous, or we perceive it to be that? Or do we retreat, run? Do we simply freeze and hope the danger goes away? All of this is interesting to me, because watching animals and how they handle things, and watching us how we handle things, is so close. So our choice between fight, flight, or freeze. Now, that can be voluntary or involuntary. But with growth, that flight, that recognizing of immediate vulnerability, when we look at the, what would you say, that vulnerability that we have, maybe we'll experience inertia, and so we freeze. And we hope that vulnerability is just going to evaporate and just going to go away. Now, the freeze option is like a turtle withdrawing into its shell. And I'm seeing a lot of people really and truly doing this. I'll maybe go to discuss for a minute something I heard on the news. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I've had enough of this stuff. I don't want to hear it. Okay, I can understand that. But we live in this world, and pretending that it isn't happening or being a turtle doesn't change what we're going to face. So part of what has made humans so successful is that we are social creatures, like the chimpanzees, like the gorillas, and we're supposed to be highly developed, and our highly developed sense of communication, although they're finding that whales and other mammals dolphins have a more sophisticated communication system than we do. We're not the strongest. I mean, really, if you're faced with a lion, I've seen people faced with their own horse, their own dog, and their own dog puts them in a corner. So we're not the strongest. We're not certainly the fastest. But we've survived. And we've survived because, like rats, we have an ability to adapt and change. And realizing that, and if we act cooperatively, that's the key. So with these skills, we can communicate, actually, if you want to go esoteric, through time, space, and over great distances, if you want to go esoteric, and I do. So a lot of what we need to discuss may be about battling loneliness, because that centers in the development of some of our communication skills. I'm not blaming technology because I use it, but maybe with technology, we're losing a social skill of being able to read a face or read emotions. So many people get mad at a text. My post, I did not mean any harm. I was just asking for people to get together for a coffee and let's discuss this. We have a problem. Let's talk about it and see if we can find a resolution, or at least a starting point. So we need to develop these communication skills, maybe one-on-one, face-to-face, but we need reciprocity. We need beneficial relationships. Chimpanzees know that. They make political changes in their interactions with each other, and they climb the hierarchy ladder by who they associate with politically, believe it or not. And I've seen it in the dog packs. I've seen it in many social animals. So let's take loneliness, which is a subjective emotion, and let's say that got activated during the pandemic, different ways for different people. we spent a lot of time by ourselves. Our conversation might have been between our ears in our own mind. And maybe some of the most important parts of that is determining what we're going to experience, how we're thinking, what we're thinking. Now, I want to flesh this out just a little. Fight, flight, freeze. Fight. Interesting. Fight. When a dog or an animal or a horse or a goat feels threatened or vulnerable, as I said, some will flee, some will freeze, but some fight. Stallions that I've ridden down the road, when a big truck one time came by, it was a big semi, and my stallion, I was used to my other horses, if they got scared of something, they would shy, which means bolt out from underneath you, sideways, over the ditch, through the through the valley. We were gone. But the stallion was very different. He saw that truck coming with the big rooster tail of water behind it and charged it. Now that was fearful for me. I'm on a 1,500-pound animal that's charging, I don't know how much a semi weighs. And I know this isn't going to end good for me or the horse. Luckily, we had a relationship that was good enough that he let me override his first instinct of attacking the truck. And everybody survived. But it was a while before I got spit in my mouth. So maybe some of the anger issues that we're having, these mass shootings, this attacking somebody that's walking down the street and that man just punched that poor old woman and knocked her down. She didn't even see it coming. I must have watched that video 50 times out of interest to see, could she have reacted? And there's no way that she could have seen that coming. I'm not even sure he knew he was going to do it. Maybe he just broke at that moment. So we have to look at, is it our vulnerabilities that are making us so angry? My dogs are a wonderful barometer, because if I'm feeling anger or thinking too much in my own head and getting stuck in my own thoughts, they will point it out to me by their body language, and then I know I got to get my act in gear. So maybe we need to self-discover, because they're offering us all these planets. And the number one is ours this week, which is new, creative inspiration, leadership. I'm going to discuss that a little bit more later. But that number one with all the planets really offers us an opportunity to possibly examine, what category do you fit in? Fight, flight, freeze. And how better could you work? Or maybe it's working perfectly for you. It's not working perfectly for a lot of people, but maybe it's working perfectly for you. Keep it up. Now, Mercury, the planet of our thinking, our thought process, is still in Capricorn, and that will be until the 12th of February. So we've got time on that. That's when it moves to Aquarius. So we'll have Aquarius in the sun sign, Aquarius in Mercury. So that'll really expand our ability to look through things, look at things uniquely. But for right now, it's in Capricorn, and Capricorn energy in that placement will make us hard on ourselves, but will also allow us an opportunity to make a goal, a mission, something that we can build on, make a plan of attack, so to speak, of how we can work through this and organize ourselves. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, attraction, is still in Pisces, so that's very ethereal, it's very esoteric, it's floaty, it's psychic, it's sensitive, it's compassionate. So we'll want to be loved, we'll want to love other people. That psychic energy field is in full force there. It's a really nice energy field, but be careful not to get airheaded. It's a water sign, so we can get floaty. Just be careful that you'll maybe take that energy of Capricorn and Mercury and help ground yourself so we don't go off into the ninth dimension. And then Mars, the planet of passion, and that angry planet, that's going to be in Gemini and has been for a long time and is going to stay there for a bit. But that's the planet of thinking. It's the zodiac sign of change and being able to embrace new ideas and think many thoughts at the same time. Now we can overthink. I'm a victim of that. But watch that we just maybe spend some time trying to think about this. The full moon will occur technically on the 5th of February. So with that, it's in Leo, and that offers our building. It's a full moon. We can build on that. Now, full moons offer a little bit of volatility. It can be a little unstable, so we have to be careful with that, but it's full of energy. So if you need to get some things done, you can. This is a great time to get some things done if you feel like using that energy of the full moon in a stable way, not an unstable way. It could offer us joy because it's in Leo. And play and pleasure. Have you ever seen a cat play? Holy cow, there's no way you cannot laugh. When a cat goes full Monty, there's no way you can't laugh at that. Cats know how to play. So maybe we could learn from our cats and engage that Leo energy in the full moon towards the end of this week and let it work for us. Now, there's a confidence in cats that's really amazing. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun, every time the sun's out, we always feel better. The sun does that. But look at a little, 15-pound cat. That would be a fairly big cat. And I've seen them rule Presso Canarios that are like 100 pounds of muscle. Cane Corsos, Dogo de Argentinos. These cats know all about confidence. So that's what we're supposed to be maybe wearing. That's the suit we should try on, see if it fits. And if we start to, in good, build our confidence, that might offer us an opportunity to look at things without the fear, without the freeze, without the flight, and maybe, just maybe, get rid of the anger and turn this to joy. What a concept. So it's an opportunity to possibly do that. Now, the beginning of the week, us sensitive people may feel some difficulty in your neck, your shoulders, your arms. If you're already vulnerable in that area, it could bring it to your attention. The bronchial tubes, respiratory system, your lungs, all of that can be an issue. Now, if you're weak in that area, I do have that weakness in my lungs. I don't know why, it just is. I already know ahead of time, get your hulls out. Try not to eat something bad before you go to bed because that'll make your lungs a little wetter than normal. Whatever you can do to shore up that vulnerable part of your body will help you. And then towards the middle of the week, we're going to move down to the stomach. So if you have a sensitive stomach, you may have an even more sensitive stomach. So you'll have to keep an eye on that. And that energy is ruled by Cancer towards the middle of the week in the moon. That's around February the 2nd. Great time for, we're not going to garden, but anything that's home, or if you maybe you do garden in the window with your little herbs, but it's good time for home, family activities, getting together. So it'd be a great time to maybe go frisbee golf. There's some archery things in Amherstburg on Monday nights for the kids and the adults. Just something to get together, freshen it up, maybe board games, just towards the middle of the week, towards the end of the week, possibly. And cat, that Leo in the full moon, that's a cat. Cat are very pride-oriented. They like their pride, their family. So maybe we could do something to get together and try to focus on the family and see what we could come up with. Not a bad idea if the universe knows what it's doing if you want to try. So remember this new month gives us a new vibration, new month, new ideas, new ways of approaching things. And we have the number 1 that has paired for us this week. So number 1 is courage. What is it on Star Trek? You're my number 1. You're the leader, second in command. Active, creative, because that Leo energy, that full moon. Number 1 is priority. It'll give us priority for whatever we want and think is number 1 in our life. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your animals, maybe it's me time. And it gives us the initiative to be determined to succeed in this area. Number 1. It should offer us, if we're willing to accept it, to devote more time to other people. Because that's what Leo is, the pride. That's what Cancer is, the family. And with Leo, praise. Find something you like about somebody and tell them. Be sincere. Tell them. Downside, domineering. We've got to be really careful not to be domineering. That's a weakness of number 1. Superiority, stubbornness. Avoid it. Just avoid it, because we can fall into that. Maybe not giving enough help and support to other people. And then we go into lonely. And with this lonely thing that's going on, that a lot of us don't even notice it, maybe this is where the fight, flight, or freeze is coming from. It deserves some thinking, I think. On that note, I'm going to let you go. I thank you so very much for giving your time to me today for the week to see what we've got going. Share your thoughts with other people. Maybe we can come up with a solution. If you need a reading for yourself personally, you are more than welcome to give me a call or text 519-726-6699, or you can email me at Terri, Terri, .Coutts, Coutts, @gmail.com. And the website that Charlie O'Brien manages and has put up and created, if you need any of that help for your technical needs, he's the man, Charlie O'Brien. My website is www.terriworld.com. He has us on Spotify. He has us on Apple iTunes. He has us on Amazon Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. If you need archived podcasts of maybe 1 or 2 that you've missed, he's got 4 or 5 of them up on that website, www.terriworld.com. Thanks again, Charlie, for putting all that work into it, and all of you for taking the time to listen. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Try to maximize that energy if you can. Tune in for next week. We'll see what's going on. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coutts. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. Terri world.com.